Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record live at 2 p.m. Eastern Time every Monday. If you enjoy this video, hit that like button, and if you want to submit to be on the show, take a look at the information in the description. So you got a hand for us, Kevin?
Yeah, I got a 2-5 hand from MGM Springfield.
MGM Springfield. Does that mean that you live in Western Mass?
Actually, so I usually go to Encore.
Okay. Do you live like in Central Mass?
Yeah, so this was a meetup game with Brad Owen and Andrew Nemi.
Brad Owen and Andrew Nemi went to MGM Springfield?
They did, yes.
Wow, that's so.
Yeah.
What's the lowdown? I mean, Springfield is a shithole city. It's kind of similar.
Yeah,
it's kind of similar to like Camden, New Jersey type of thing. I had heard early on that they weren't overly like it's not that, and then the casino's like in a shitty area. Well, downtown's a shitty area, but what's the deal over in MGM Springfield?
So I actually, so it was the first time I went there.
Oh, okay.
Again, I usually play, like I said, at Encore, but so me and my girl, we went out there for the meetup game and stayed at like the Holiday Inn next to it. And yeah, it is sketchy, man. It is kind of sketchy walking out of there. It definitely feels like like you're gonna get jumped around any corner for sure.
I mean, that's like that in a lot of different casinos. But what's the structure?
The casino itself is pretty nice though. But I thought it had a nice feel to it. But so for the 2-5, it's a 1,000 cap.
Oh, okay. Okay, so 1K cap. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for me, I usually actually play 1-3.
Okay, so you're taking a little bit of a step up.
This is actually the first time I was playing 2-5.
Okay.
I like came from online and I just started playing 1-3. I've been winning at 1-3 and I just wanted to give it a try for the meetup game.
Okay.
So it's a little nervous, but I had I was under the gun +1.
Yep.
With King of Diamonds, King of Clubs.
And how deep are you?
So I had 750.
Okay, so King of Diamonds, King of Clubs, 750 effective. First time playing 2-5. Okay,
yeah,
you're
and this
+1.
was literally the second hand.
Okay.
The first hand I opened up, and the lady to my left. Only thing I know about her, I guess she plays all the way up to 25-50, so she's a pretty competent player.
But just by the way, I've seen, I don't know if recently, but when these Massachusetts casinos opened, MGM came before Encore, I'd see 25-50 no limit games in Springfield, and I'd be like, what the fuck? Because I think that's so rare of a game to go straight no limit nowadays.
Yeah,
it's usually all gone private, but I've seen it on Bravo a couple times. So yeah, you're not BSing. I've seen that game. So she's +1. What does she do? Or she's +2. What does she do?
Yeah, she's +2, so she calls in this hand, and then we get a button call and a big blind call.
Okay, so you raise, lady to your left who plays high calls, button calls, big blind calls, so you're 4 ways. How much did you raise to, by the way?
20.
20, okay,
yep.
Which seems probably standard. So the pot's about $80, right? And Are you getting nervous now because it's second? So you've never really played 2-5, and then all of a sudden you get the second hand, you get kings, and now you're going multi-way. You can be honest.
So far, I was actually good. It doesn't get scary for me until the turn. So I was good here. And on the flop we got Queen of Hearts, 7 of Clubs, Five of Spades.
All right, Queen of Hearts, 7 of Clubs, 5 of Spades. I mean, this still is, you know, I always want to sort of be on the sort of, you know, I want to be in the learning curve as new information comes out, no limit. So it's not a struggle on my regular podcast. I just try to bring two sides of, so I've been trying to bring more theory into play, and then what I would do in a typical $5 blind, how I would deviate, which is how I've been going over a lot of my content recently. So Queen 7-5, not a board that really needs to be reflected even multi-way with it. Let's go the theory ways with the check, because there's really no two pair that should be out there. in this particular spot. And queens should be really 3-bet off. Now you're going to see possibly some flats and stuff like that. The theory behind this, though, is that if everybody was playing equilibrium ranges 9-handed, which would mean everyone's playing 15% VPIP, you can use a very, very small sizing, or you should use a very, very small sizing multi-way, like 25% a pot, like betting 20, betting 25. That's the theory. The reality is that there are people playing all kinds of hands that are far from equilibrium pre-flop, like offsuit broadways, like Queen X, overcalling with 7X. I see it on the TCH live stream, which we play like 5, 10, 25. People are overcalling here. You throw out a 30, 40% bet, you get a call from the lady from +2, and now like the button overcalls with like 7-6 or the big blind. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's giving away, I feel like, way too much value to bet what is supposed to be theoretically correct, because the calling ranges are so much wider. So, and people are not recognizing that they're supposed to underdefend. Like the lady in +2, she can almost only call with a queen plus here, and like maybe she certainly is not supposed to call with a 5-out draw because there's two people behind. Whereas if it's heads up, it's much, much different. So I would start with a bet of 40 or 50 personally. That's how I feel here on this rainbow board. What did you do?
So I bet 50.
Okay, so here bet's 50. Yep.
Yeah. I felt like with so many people that hopefully,
Sure. Yeah.
I know it was a dry flop, but
Yep.
So I got the +2 to call.
All right, so +2 lady calls. Yep.
And then button and big blind fold.
Okay, so now the pot's about 180 and your head's up.
Yep.
Let's go to the turn.
And turn is the 2 of hearts.
Okay, so 2 of hearts out there. So you've got king of diamonds, king of clubs. You bet 50 on queen of hearts, 7 of clubs, 5 of spades. Now the turn's the deuce of hearts, which, if you have your suits right, means that she cannot have queen x of hearts here for a backdoor, but backdoor hearts appear. I mean, this is a huge brick here. So I mean, at this point, you've got about 670 left in your stack. The pot's 180. When she calls next to act, now we don't know, but it really should be a lot of strength in the sense that I'm going to start to bet on the larger side here to target queens. It's just much, much different than if somebody closed the action in the blind. Like, you're drooling in this spot here. So I think that anything less than maybe like 140 to 150 actually is a value mistake here because of the positional configuration.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I guess I went a little small then.
Okay. Yeah.
So I bet 125.
Okay. Like I said, I want you to. It's not a huge mistake, but especially when people understand sizing more, you understand why I'm saying you should go larger. Because what is her most likely hand here when she calls you next to act with 2 people left on the flop?
Well, queen x.
Yeah, queen x. So she's not folding queen x. So you want to get as much value in here with queen x. Now, if the board had come out like queen 10, 7, and now the turn was like a 9, you might not even be able to bet at all when you think about the ranges, right? But this deuce on this board, it's much, much different, right? So you bet 125. So here bets 125. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is where I got a little nervous just because playing in 2-5, and she seemed aggressive. Like I said, the hand I played against her, she had like 3-bet me. This
3-bet
you second
3-bet you pre-flop, you mean? 3-bet you pre-flop?
Yeah, she did show queens, so it wasn't junk or anything. But so now she raises to 325.
So she makes it 325. So you bet 125, and now +2 raises to 325. So 125 into 180 is right around 300. It's like 630 with the raise in there. So 300, 630 with the raise in there, like 200 for you to call. And if you call, the pot will be 830, and you'll have about 300. So when you if you call the raise at 325 and you've put in 50 on the flop and then pre-flop, you've got 350 left in your stack. So it's very, very close here, because this little min raise I could sort of see as like a little bit of a stop raise in this particular spot. Now, if you were deeper, there would be no question that this would just become a call. Where this is sort of odd here And folding here is just like you would have to like. I mean, it would be the largest exploit ever, right? Because the way that I'm looking at the math here is that if you call the raise, that's 650, and there was already 180 on the flop, so it'd be $830, and you would only have 350 left in your stack. So once you get to that point where you've got less than like half a pot size bet left, like if you just shove on the turn, like as a 3-bet over the top, the pot's going to be like 1200, 350 for her to call. Once you're giving your opponent more than 3-1, I just don't think she's going to fold a queen. Again, the action would be 125 to 325, right? A call would be 830. You only have 350 left in your stack. So if it went 125, 325, and then you went to basically 675 all in, I mean, the pot would be like 1200, like 350 for her to call. I don't think she's getting away from it. And obviously, like if you call here, you're not check folding. So with these stack sizes, I actually think I would get it in here. If you were deeper, then obviously you just call. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's how I would look at it.
All right. Yeah. I felt afterwards that that's what I should have done. So that was, I guess, my main question. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really consider folding.
I'm just saying that if you don't consider folding, I think jamming is the correct play because of the stack sizes.
So that's what
like I said, like if you were deeper, if you had additional stack depth, and this is a good example too of how it sort of can be. People don't understand when they don't play live poker and see a lot of these multi-way spots, especially at the $5 blind level, that 150 big blinds, which is equivalent to the math of what you're at here, right, at 750 at 5-5. It's not really 150 big blinds when people think about it like online or in a tournament. You're getting all the money in on the turn here, and that's just to one mini raise. And the pot's not even 3-bet. And that's the nature of the 4X Open, right? The multi-way pot, a bet and a call on the flop, and then basically a min raise on the turn. So it's really not that deep. People are like, oh my God, you stacked off with one pair, 150 big blinds deep. It's like not the 150 big blinds you're thinking about to that person that might say that. So what did you end up doing? Did you call?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the reason I called, honestly, was in a lot of the 1-3 games I play at Encore, this would be like 90% I'm beat.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like a little concerned. I mean, I think even at 1-3, I would just kind of close my eyes and, call there too. But I would feel a lot less good about it. Because a lot of the 1-3 games, people just show up with some really odd stuff.
Well, no, I agree, and it's hard to play. But I just want to take a couple chat comments that don't make a whole lot of sense to me. In this, I mean, people are bringing up good observations, but the conclusion is not really sound. People are like, well, just call to make sure that she jams her semi-bluffs on the river. If she has semi-bluffs that she's raising on the turn, again, do the pot math out. She's going to call a jam. She's going to be getting 4 or 5-1. And if she has a queen here that she's trying to stop raise, is this lady going to raise fold like ace queen here when the pot on the turn, if this guy shoves, is going to be like 1200, 350 to call? He bets 125 on the turn. She makes it 325, right? And now he shoves for like 700 total. She going to fold for 375 more for a $1,200 or $1,300 pot? I just don't buy it. That's why I like to shove against both of those hands. You call. All right. So what's the river?
The river is the 9 of diamonds.
Okay.
And, so at this point, like, I honestly, again, this is since I'm not used to there's not many pots I've played this size. I've gotten a couple at 1-3 this size, but it's pretty big. So at this point, I kind of checked out, and I just like checked and was hoping for the best. So she checked it back.
But you're gonna check call though, right?
Yeah, I was gonna check call, especially. So it
goes check, and then did she show?
Yeah.
Did she have a queen?
Yeah. So she had ace of hearts, queen of diamonds.
So do you think that she's folding ace queen there to a jam?
No,
on the turn?
no. And then, I just didn't want to be like results oriented.
Right,
I was
right.
just curious if like, I should be jamming on the turn there.
Well, I think, like I said, with the stack sizes, yes. Now,
Okay.
if you get into a situation, obviously, where you're deeper, then, you get a little bit handcuffed. Although you don't really see many people play like a stop mini raise when they're deeper. They'll just call. Because with deeper stacks, you don't need to put in the raise for sort of a pot control, right? They have position. This is almost like a little bit of a limit play. You know what I'm saying? But I would be
Yeah.
very, very comfortable even if you had ace queen here. Like if you had king, ace queen, of course, blocking the fact that you'd ever flat with pocket queens. King queen is probably really close. King queen might be one of the hands where I might just call, and the reason be instead of jamming, and the reason being is because the times that you're behind the ace queen, it might go check check. You see what I'm saying? Like it's like king queen is really interesting here on this board. Now, if you were to have queen jack and you played it this way, I'd probably muck on the turn,
Okay.
sort of exploitably, just because you can see that now we're looking at ace queen and king, but with an overpair, just
Yeah.
go with it, But that's an
The,
interesting one.
the only other thing the only other question I had was, would it, when I was in the hand, the one thought I did have was, if it wasn't a heart on the river and there wasn't like something like she was doing something with like ace seven of hearts or like ace five of hearts, like would jamming on the river just, do you think you'd still get called by
Well, I mean, I guess you could.
ace
I
queen there,
guess
or
you could play it that way. Like you could call and jam a non-heart river.
yeah,
But it doesn't.
just
I mean,
that,
at this point, it just doesn't matter. Just get it in on the turn. Because the problem with
yeah,
taking that line is now you've lost all the value if she does happen to have like a combo draw, like a
yeah, okay,
6-8 of
all
hearts or
right,
6-4 of heart. Well, of course, 6-8 gets there, but you'll see this play too. Like if somebody were to have Queen X of hearts, which of course is not possible. Like if the queen wasn't a heart here and it was some sort of other, like say it was like queen of clubs, 7 of hearts, and then she pulled this play on turn, you'd
yep,
see some representation of queen X of hearts here too. But
okay.
you want to get value from all those semi bluffs. But I appreciate the call. If you like what you've seen here, please hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this call in hand, hit the like button down below. To check out crushlivepoker.com, click on the link in the description. Use the code YTA300 to get the first 30 days for free.